Welcome to Conversations with Zaki Baruti, and like always, I'd like to give a shout out to my biological family, what's going on, to the Universal African Peoples Organization family, what's happening, and to the New Life Evangelistic Center family, headed by Reverend Rice. Keep up the great work, and a shout out to our cameraman, Bob. On that note, this evening we'll have another great show, and in the studio with me is a brother who has for a number of years been active in the movement, especially in the area of politics, as well as he works very closely with the movement to celebrate the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. every year, and that's none other than Brother Anthony Bale. Welcome to Conversations with Zaki Baruti, Brother Bale.
Brother Zaki, you know stranger in this country, and your activism, so it's a pleasure.
All right, and again, I just want to welcome you to our show. You know, when we begin our show, Conversations with Zaki Baruti, I always like to, for our listening audience, the thousands of people who be listening in, to know something about the person that we're interviewing. So would you share some background information about who Anthony Bale is? You know, wherever you want to share that you want people to know about you.
Well, basically, I'm a concerned citizen, and my involvement in community activism and community affairs and politics has basically been based on, concern. No special interest other than concern about what happens in our community and our country. Getting involved as far as having a say-so what happens by casting a vote and being a part of a vote. So I've been a part of this for many years. I started as a young man. I first held office when I was 18 years old. I was committeeman over in the 3rd Ward in the city of St. Louis. 3rd Ward committeeman. That was in '76. And I stayed active for many years. I got involved with a lot of movements and stuff such as that nature that had the best interests of the community involved at the time, and in them days, it was movements like trying to make Dr. King Day a celebration across the country and stuff such as that nature. And I stayed involved with some of the top flight people that was movers and shakers, myself.
So you're saying that you served as a committee person in the 3rd Ward at the age of 18?
When I was appointed committee man over in the 3rd Ward you're right. That's
at 18,
right. That's
okay,
right.
Yeah, that's a young age in terms of being involved.
Right.
What do you see as the significance? And as a committee person, of course, you're encouraging people to vote. And one of the and I want to get into the subject because you also serve as the marshal for the annual Dr. Martin Luther King March through downtown St. Louis. Dr. King, of course, pushed for black people to have the right to vote and was one of the important advocates for the 1965 Voting Rights Act. Why is this significant for people to vote?
Well, it's very significant because I understand we sometimes fall in the shadows of an ideal that our vote don't count. And whatever we do, it really doesn't matter because we are not the majority. We are less than the majority in this country, and our vote don't count. But I like to keep that addressed at all times, that every vote do count, and people died for the right to vote, and that we must continue to struggle to keep them involved in having a right to participate in political process and what happens in this country as a whole. Not so much as in your city, but in this country, because on the grassroots level, everything mostly operates off the grassroots level. It makes the difference in the change on the top level in politics. So we must continue to look at it from an objective point of view that our vote do count, And share something with you. I put on a voter registration drive, one of the first voter registration drives that helped made a big difference in Ferguson, Missouri. Remember when Mike Brown got killed?
Absolutely.
I was the one that put the first voter registration drive, my organization and I, under the Dr. Martin Luther King auspice in Ferguson to register people to vote. I had a lady that was 104 years old that had never voted.
Wow.
Came to my booth and showed me her ID. And I registered her to vote. And I said, "Ma'am, have you ever voted before?" She said, "No." I said, "Why would you be voting now?" She said, "I found a reason to vote."
And what was her reason?
She said, after the incident in Ferguson, she said, "I found a reason." She lived in Ferguson. She said, "I found a reason to vote, sir."
Oh, okay.
I said, "What?" After all these years, she said, "I felt my vote never counted." I said, "But your vote do count, Right. I said, people died for the right to vote.
Absolutely.
And I had another lady in my ward that was 102 years old that had never voted. moved here from the South to stay with her daughter here, had never voted. I see she thinks she had been here for about several years, lived in my ward, was 102 years old, never voted. But I registered her to vote.
Okay. Well, okay then, good then. So on that note, in terms of voting, and then, on January the 20th, there's, or the 21st.
21st.
The
right.
21st, that's going to be the annual march through the streets of St. Louis in the celebration of the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. And in that great march where it tracks thousands of people, you're going to have a key role as part of that march. And what is your key role in the march?
Well, I've been a part of this thing for 39 years. I've been a part of the Dr. King movement for 35 years and participating. And my thing as the marshal here in the state of Missouri, what we do, we oversee putting together, the marches and calling people and asking them to participate. And also requesting maybe the mayor or the governor, whoever, to come down to the old courthouse, which is a celebration day now. That's when we do the celebration day. After the kickoff was at Harris Stowe several days before that. But however, we invite different candidates and people from all across the country to come in and speak freely, that we feel have something to say, have an interest in what's going on as far as Dr. King faith and Dr. King beliefs. And it turns out real good on that day, very well. And
specifically, though, you have a specific responsibility for that day. Share it with our audience.
Right.
Specifically,
what I do, I do the welcoming speech for Dr. King Day at the old courthouse, which is on Market and Tucker Street. And after that, we assemble people to participate in the march that day. And specifically what I do is, I lead them through wherever area we're going to have our celebration at. We normally have it at a different church. So we're going to be at Leonard Baptist Church this time. We walk from downtown city of St. Louis to a church called Leonard Baptist Church, which is on the corner of Dr. King and Compton. And that's where we will reside at the end of that day, Martin Luther King and Compton.
Okay, so you march from the old courthouse to
Leonard Baptist Church.
Leonard Baptist Church.
Right.
Approximately how many miles is that?
Maybe about 3.
About 3 miles. Okay, then. On that note, we'll have to take a quick break.
I want to thank God for each and every one of you that are supporting NLEC TV, the work of the New Life Evangelistic Center, and making it all possible so we can have conversations with Zaki on the air along with the other programming that's on NLEC TV. Not only we discover that at 24.2, but I actually watch it on my cell phone at a very special app that we have of NLEC TV, and you can just pull it up. It's so easy that everybody can watch it anywhere. So wherever I travel, I can be watching this program and other programs. Now, all this is possible only because of caring people like you that are sharing those much-needed tax-deductible gifts at this time with the New Life Evangelistic Center. We have a lot of things that are unfolding at this moment. We're continuing to help multitudes of people, not only throughout Mid-America, but as far away as India and Africa and other locations around the world. And we really do need your help. After they closed down 1411 Locust, we're continuing to help the homeless directly out on the streets every week. We're out in the mayor's window distributing bus tickets and other direct supplies. We have regular events out in front of 1411 Locust, and we're working actually through the legal, the mediation, the advocacy, and getting prayer warriors to pray that we can reopen 1411 Locust in the near future. But we need your involvement at this particular moment. And your gifts to the New Life Evangelistic Center make such a big difference. You can send that to P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, that's 63166, or you can give online through the PayPal system at newlifeevangelisticcenter.org or NLEC STL. I ask you to continue to stand with us right now as we continue to bring many programs like Conversation with Zaki to you, but we need your help.
If you can't receive NLEC TV on channel 24.2 on your TV, you can watch us on your home computer or laptop, anywhere in the world. Simply type in NLEC TV, then select NLEC TV support, and click on the small NLEC TV on the right of the menu bar. Click on the play indicator to start the live programming, the same programming as 24.2. You can then enlarge the picture and enjoy your favorite programs like the NLEC Worship with Larry Rice, The Bernie Hayes Show, Experience the Benefits of Change with Pastor Burris, Conversations with Zaki Baruti, News and Views, and so much more.
Can you hear the music of creation?
NLEC TV is also available on all mobile devices such as smartphones and iPads. By getting the NLEC TV app, you can enjoy NLEC TV anywhere you go.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is Anthony Bell, who's the 3rd Ward Alderman for Committeeman, for the city of St. Louis, as well as he's the Marshal, I'm going to say Field Marshal, for the day of celebrating the life of Dr. Martin Luther King, which will be held Monday, January 21st, and on that day, there's a celebration that starts at the old courthouse.
That's right.
Where you have different remarks from different leadership, political, social, economic leadership. And then from there, there's going to be a march from the old courthouse to...
Leonard Baptist Church will be on the corner of Dr. King and Compton here in the city of St. Louis.
Okay, just some historic perspectives. Now, this would be what year, how many marches has taken place? This would celebrate, do you have an idea?
Yes, we really started protesting. It's been a good 39 years as far as, putting this thing together. But we have marched for over 30 years or more,
Okay, 30 plus years of a celebration of Dr. King.
Well,
now, who were some of the original organizers of this march from the old courthouse to different sites?
Some of the original organizers, we cannot forget a brother named Richard Dockett.
Richard Dockett.
Him and I were very close friends and allies. He was a political activist that made a great difference in University City out there. And he's been involved. He was totally impacted and involved in the changes and the indifference that we have as far as political and social change in the city of St. Louis. He was also the Grand Marshal, also at that time of the Dr. King Day celebration here in the city of St. Louis.
Now, are you the Grand Marshal?
I'm the Grand Marshal.
Okay, right? You're the present Grand Marshal. That's why I had said Field Marshal, but you're Grand Marshal.
Right.
Okay, Dr. Richard Dockett,
one of the marshals, number one. He was the number one marshal at that time.
Okay, but the ones who have put together the whole concept and the march in of itself would include who else?
That was, like I said, Brother Norman Say. And Bill Bailey.
Bill Bailey.
And Lady Merton Gales, she was directly involved also,
Okay.
And so other than that, the governors over a period of time has appointed certain people, as far as, being on the commission that has something to do with being involved with the celebration day also.
Okay, because I think there's a Missouri commission on the celebration of Dr. King.
That's right.
Now, let's look at from your perspective. First of all, do you remember where you were when Dr. King was assassinated on a personal level?
Yeah, I was in school.
At the time of his actual death, when you found out about it?
Right, I was in school.
You was in school?
I was in school.
Okay, what school was that?
I was in grade school at the time,
Oh, you were in grade school?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right,
yeah.
All right then. I'm thinking...
yeah, I was in grade school.
Okay, yeah. I can remember when I was working at a place called Dow Chemical Company when I'm
familiar with the company, very well.
Yeah, it used to be in Madison, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of the legacy of Dr. King, okay, and of course you were young at that time and was not involved. How do you look back at the history of Dr. King and the significance of his movement?
Well, the significance of Dr. King movement, I'll share this with you. You got great big manufacturing companies here in this country, okay, more so in the automobile industry in that day. In them times, whereas, say, for instance, like a black man could not work on an assembly line in major industries like on the assembly line in the automobile industry. My dad, for instance, worked for General Motors.
Mine's also, ironically. All right,
My dad worked for General Motors at the time when Dr. King had been killed. and had been protesting. And my dad specifically told me, he said, son, he said, look here. He said, all we could do in a manufacturing company like General Motors, we couldn't work on the assembly line. That's one of the classified jobs on an assembly line. He said, all they had us doing is porter's work, cleaning and porter's work.
Yeah.
He said, what happened when King got killed? They started putting black men on the assembly line. In plants all across the country, putting black men on the assembly line. So contributing to one of the factors that you asked as far as what did Dr. King, how did he affect things? He greatly affected things, change and stuff in this country, because he sent a message that it must be a change, and it must be immediately change in this country. And it was very effective on many levels. Whether we had racial indifferences or not, we still had a change coming about in this country under Dr. King.
Okay, you want to cite any other change you mentioned in terms on the workplace? That was a change.
Workplace, and also, when it came to human and civil rights issues and stuff, they were being more looked at and more addressed when it came to human and civil rights issues and stuff. And also the Voters' Rights Act. They look back at the legacy of Dr. King, the Voters' Rights Act, and also the Human Rights, Civil Rights Bill and stuff like that. They were reflecting on Dr. King when they signed bills and stuff for that. That was one of the biggest changes, the human rights bills. And the civil rights bill, that came about,
Okay, then. Now, transitioning that in terms of just to today's struggle, how do you see the politics of today? You see that Trump is in office, and what's your analysis of the political scenario as of today on both the national and local level?
As far as the political change today, and as far as Trump being in office today, to me, as a minority voter and a participant, and as far as the first fired and the last hired, I don't see be a big problem with it, because it's nothing we haven't been dealing with all the time with certain politicians. Leaderships, certain political leaderships. We have, we as a people have been under the same kind of rainbow, but it's just haven't been open. See, we got tweet, we got Facebook and everything going on right now. You can hear and see anything going on Facebook about anything and anybody. We got a president that's so open now about whatever he do and say that people can't accept it.
You say they can't accept it or can?
They cannot accept it, see what I'm saying? But this is something that's been going on for years behind closed doors. But he's just so out front with how he gonna do things and what he gonna say. His narrative about human life and human rights and stuff like that, that's nothing new.
It's just straight up in your face, and he's just letting you know what's up, huh?
And this been going on for since we've been in this country. But we got to learn to live with it.
Okay, on that note, we'll have to take another quick break.
You can help New Life Evangelistic Center break the cycle of homelessness by providing monies for Metrolink tickets. It's absolutely essential at this time. New Life Evangelistic Center is providing hundreds of Metrolink tickets every week to homeless people so they can get to their jobs, so they can get to their doctor appointments, so they can find a place to sleep at nights. Will you please share your much-needed tax-deductible gift with the New Life Evangelistic Center? Every $30 you provide enables New Life to get 10 of the Metrolink tickets. And you can send those gifts now to the New Life Evangelistic Center at P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. These individuals are having to walk so far at this moment, and a Metrolink ticket means so very much. And not only does New Life Evangelistic Center desire to provide for the homeless throughout the greater St. Louis area, but also throughout the Springfield community. Your gifts are very much needed at this time. It's New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. Thank you for praying, caring, and sharing at this moment.
homeless?
Right now I am.
Okay. You're using the walking cane?
Yeah,
Okay.
I used this here. No,
Okay.
I got to walk. Oh, I had 2 strokes.
Tell me, Larry, what was your worst day living on the streets?
Shoot, living on the streets is every day. That's your worst day.
Every day is a pain. Every day,
It's a pain.
right? And it's depressing, isn't it?
Depressing, very depressing, but you got to stay strong.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is Anthony Bell, the 3rd Ward Committeeman for the city of St. Louis, who's been that committeeman for a number of years since he was 18 years. Off and on since he was 18 years old, very involved in the political area of life for North St. Louis, as well as the Grand Marshal for the Dr. Martin Luther King celebration. Brother Bell, I know you've had a life full of different activisms, and prior to our conversation taking place now, I know you were very involved in Homer G. Phillip, I'm going to call it uprising, or trying to save Homer G. Phillip.
Yeah, that's quite right.
Give us some reflections on what was taking place at that point in time, and what was the approximate years of that?
Well, that day and time, reflecting back on the Homer G. Phillip, it was a case whereas we had been promised that if we have supported a certain type of leadership in the city of St. Louis, that they would reopen Homer G. Phillip.
And that was Shamos.
And that was Shamos.
Right.
Okay. And,
Vince Shamos.
Vince Shamos, and he kind of failed us in many cases, as far as the reopening of Homer G. Phillip. And then we had another one
He
named...
spoke with what, a forked tongue?
Right, that's right. But we had another candidate. That was the main drive was Conway. Conway was the next mayor, one of the next mayors of the city of St. Louis. At that time, I was committeeman of the 3rd Ward. And he made some promises, if we support him, that he would reopen Homer G. Phillip. Literally saying he would reopen Homer G. Phillip. That never came to pass after he got in office. He was a one-term mayor, Mayor Conway.
So, and you were very involved in that whole...
Because I was committee man at the time of the 3rd Ward.
Is Homer
I had
G.
a
in the 3rd
personal
Ward?
conversation with him. No, Homer G. Phillip...
It's in the 4th Ward.
Right, that's over in the 4th Ward.
Right.
But this was a citywide issue.
Okay.
So after having a personal conversation with the Mayor Conway at that time, promising me that if we all galvanized our support behind him, he would be active and open. Neither one of them came to the table once they became mayor.
Right. And right now it's a facility for senior citizens. It's almost like a nursing home, if my memory.
It's a housing development, and also senior care place, and it's nice. It's still nice, but we wanted Homer G. Phillip as being a historical hospital to stay open. Matter of fact, Homer G. Phillip graduated some of the best nurses in the country. Some of the best nurses came out of Homer G. Phillip.
Right. Now, one other thing I wanted to highlight in terms of just your activists and doctors, coming out of Homer G. Phillip. You did made a heroic effort of saving some young ladies' lives one time. Am I correct?
Yes, that was true.
You want to share with what happened on that?
Well, that was about one day I was picking up a friend of mine. We used to get off from work early in the morning, and it's I guess about 4 or 5 in the morning. Getting off work and we drive, and we come along, and some guy at the bus stop was robbing some women at a bus stop. And so the friend of mine that I was riding with, I was bringing her home from work. She had asked me to pick her up in the morning. We pull up at the bus stop, and the women ran into my car hollering for help. It was a gentleman there, trying to molest one and also trying to take him and put him in his car. And so a friend of mine I was driving, she said, Anthony, will you help them women there? I said, I'll do that. I got out and, I assisted the women there. And the guy eventually I held him to the police, got there, and he was locked up. And found out that he had been molesting and robbing people and breaking in houses for years and getting away with it. They did a fingerprint check on him.
Oh, okay. So you overcame them.
That's right.
And held them for the police.
That's right. That's
Okay,
right.
then.
That's
So
right.
you got rid of a predator in our community.
Matter of fact,
right?
it happened to be in my own ward. See.
Oh, okay then. Well, we got to take another break and be right back.
I want to ask you at this moment to please pray for our community. We need a prayer at this particular moment. So much hurt, so much pain, so much injustice. I see it on a daily basis. But God answers prayer. Pray for justice. Pray that the Holy Spirit will sweep across our community, and so many people, as they're God-fearing people, their hearts will be melted, and they'll reach out to these that Jesus refers to as the least of these. We'll see churches open their doors, and the Women in Need program coming forth. A church will open its doors, and we'll be able to take the women and the children that are suffering on the streets of our community to a particular church each night and bring them back. Pray that the doors of the 1411 Locust building will open soon, and the financial needs of the New Life Evangelistic Center during this very critical period will be met. Let's bind together in prayer. God answers prayer. Keep the faith and keep on praying for our community. Let's believe Him for miracles at this hour.
Hear this, you who trample the needy and do away with the poor of the land. Let justice roll on like a river, righteousness like a never-failing stream. You trample on the poor and force him to give you grain. Therefore, though you have built stone mansions, you will not live in them. Though you have planted lush vineyards, you will not drink their wine. For I know how many are your offenses and how great your sins. You oppress the righteous and take bribes, and you deprive the poor of justice in the courts.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me just for a few more minutes is Brother Anthony Bell. You know the time just runs, Brother Bell. Look here, for anybody who want to get in contact with you, how would they be able to contact you?
I'm the committeeman over in the 3rd Ward, and I have a phone number that's an active number 24/7. That's area code 314-795-3267. That's a contact number. Email number is bellanthony3w@yahoo.com.
And
bellanthony3w@yahoo.com.
And I'd be really remiss on your jacket, if you pull your jacket up so that it can make captured. You have some like historic buttons of
right
of Dr. King.
These just a few. This just a couple of them. You know, I got something that goes back over 30 years.
Oh, okay, then, and that's good. And no telling how valuable they'll be on down 100 years from now. On that note, again, when will this very historic march be taking place?
That'll be January the 21st at the old courthouse.
January the 21st. And what day of the week is that?
That'll be on a Monday.
Monday, January 21st.
The third Monday of the month. That'll be January the 21st at the old courthouse at 4th and Market Street. We assemble there.
Okay, you assemble there. At what time should people be there?
You could come there as early as 9:30 in the morning.
9:30 in the morning. And you go into the old courthouse, the rotunda of the old courthouse. What takes place in the rotunda?
We have guest speakers from all across the country and also locally. Matter of fact, you'll be one of the guest speakers there, brother. I appreciate you very much. I appreciate all the historical work and the stuff you have done. I know that has panned out and made a political and also a social change in this country, as far as on the grassroots level and the upper level. Okay. So I want to thank you for that, brother.
Thank you.
And also, you would be one of our guest speakers, Brother Zaki. And y'all come on, join us out there that day. We need everybody to come and participate.
Okay, then, so you gather in the rotunda, and the guest speakers to have a program for about an hour, I guess?
That's right. We be in there for at least an hour and a half with guest speakers from all across the country. We have the mayor there. We have the board of aldermen president there. We have one of the governors there that comes through sometime. And we also have a senator that comes through. Blunt comes through.
Okay, then. All right, well, the time is just about upon us. Monday, January 21st, Old Courthouse. Be in attendance for the historic march in celebration of the life of Dr. Martin Luther King. We appreciate you being in studio with us. I know the time just zoomed by. God bless you. Stay on the forefront. And God bless all our listening audience. On that note, you've been listening to Conversations with Zaki Baruti.